Hi, this is Jay Bucciarelli. I'm a game designer out of Boston, Massachusetts, and the game I'm submitting this year for Boston Fig is called Battle Arena. It's Pokemon themed now, but it won't become Boston Fig time. It's a 1v1 simultaneous action deck building game where for each monster you're bringing into battle, you are building a specialized deck for them. And I think that's the hook of the game, where most deck builders are just building one deck. This is actually building multiple decks, and for each deck you want a certain strategy. You want to plan for a certain strategy for each deck, but also at a higher level you want each of these decks to work well with each other, meaning they strengthen each other or they cover each other's weaknesses. So um, it takes about 10 to 30 minutes based on how many monsters you bring into the battle, and whoever reduces your opponent's monsters all of their healths down to zero first, you win. So how to play? So first, setup. For each monster you are bringing into battle, you want to make a deck for them. So they may know a lot of moves, which are shown by the cards. This one, for example, knows 11 moves. So if you wanted to bring this one into battle, you would need to reduce the deck now to 7. You can only ever bring 7 cards in for each monster. So say if it was a one-on-one, you would pick 7 cards secretly, and your opponent would as well. And then you would also set up their starting health. For this one, it's 15, and their starting energy amounts, which are marked here. This one starts with 5 red, 3 blue, and 4 yellow energy. So once you have this card set up and your 7-card deck, then we can go to starting the game. So each of you with your 7-card deck, you will shuffle it face down and then randomly choose 4 cards from it. And then you'd place them like this in front of you. Your opponent would do the same. For this round of the game, you can only choose one of the 4 of your cards that are showing. And your opponent can only choose one of these 4 cards, so that gives you a little information on what they may or may not do. To do the simultaneous action part of the game, that's what these 2 dice are for. The D4 will choose which card you want to pick, and this is done secretly and revealed at the same time. The D4 chooses the card you want to pick, and the D6 shows how much energy you want to spend on that move. So the D4 is for because there are 4 choices that you have. The farthest left card in front of you is number 1. The farthest right card is number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the energy amount you want to spend is dictated by this D6. So if I wanted to do this move, I would set this to 3. And if I wanted to use 2 energy on this, I would set this to 2. So then this is revealed. We both do our actions, and then the 4 cards are returned to our deck, that shuffled again face down, and then 4 new cards are dealt out in front. And this is done over and over until a win condition is met, meaning you've reduced your opponent's monster's health down to 0. So I can now get into the more specific stuff about each of the cards. There are 3 main types of cards. There are attacks, concentrates, and defends. Attacks deal damage, and if they land, some of them have special effects. And they also cost a certain amount of one type of energy. This one costs blue energy, this one costs red, this one costs yellow. These do damage, so the more energy you spend, the more damage they do. As an example, Slam at 1 energy does 2, Slam at 2 energy does 5, and Slam at 3 energy does 7. And you need this type of energy. So as an example, to use this, you would need to spend 3, so you would take this off of the card to use it. Concentrates, they don't do damage, but they do, for the most part, they either buff your own monsters or they weaken your opponent's monsters, so you can potentially deal more damage to them and take less damage for yourself. The energy is colored in this way because you could use any energy type, but it has to be a different type. So for the first, if you want to spend 1 energy on Tail Whip, it could be red, yellow, or blue. But if you say you pick red, the next energy you spend has to be yellow or blue. And then the last one has to be the last one you didn't use. So if you use 3 energy for Tail Whip, you would have to use 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 blue in any order. Concentrates, for the most part, buff yourself or weaken your opponent. And then there's defends. Defends beat attacks, because say I attacked and my opponent defended, my attack would do no damage. I would still have to spend the energy on it. And then since I predicted right, the defender would get a bonus, which is listed on the defense card. So yeah, this is my game, Battle Arena.